Hello friends, welcome to another Rush Royale video. If you're wondering what the two very best decks in this game are right now, this is the video for you, so you better keep watching. Okay, before we talk about the actual decks, you have to know this game doesn't give you much for free, so and before you can consider anything a best deck, you need to know all the ins and out of a deck. The game is getting more and more complex when it update after update, so don't expect to use any of these two decks and become the number one or anything like that. So you need the right gear, you need the right hero, you need all the good stuff, so remember that when you see those two decks. So the decks we are talking about are the Corsair deck and the Robot deck. There's always like a few variations to the decks, but in this case I'm playing Robot with Clock of Power because it was working pretty well for me. And you can also, if you have the right equipment, you can also do this same deck with Trickster, also very strong. So you see there are a few small variations, but these are the two best decks in the game if you have the right gear. So let's get into that. Okay, before we get any further into the decks, let's first give a little shout out to GXLS from the Royal Stars clan. I face him regularly on the ladder, so he's a good player. We are kind of similar in gear and stats, I think. So it's always a close match, basically. So he's really, he's a good player, decent player. So shout out to him for this great match and all the others. But this video is not about, winning or losing or anything like that. It's more about showing you, what kind of deck you can build with the gear you have, and in this case the two best decks. So what do we need, how do we play them? So again, it's very important to use the correct items with these decks. Don't expect them, to make this deck if you have the units and oh my god, this doesn't work. Well, there are reasons for that. So the top players using these decks, they have like the gold, the legendary items and stuff like that. So let's see what we need exactly. For the gear in this video, I'm using exactly what you're seeing on the screen right now, which is a spear with techno on it, and also the stat is techno. I also have a hunting jacket with techno on it, but also I have a full set, so the set items are techno, and at least one of the perks on them is also techno. So I have 3 items with techno on it because I like it, and it's really good with both Robot and Corsair actually. And yeah, that's basically it. So I use the hunting jacket for the attack speed and also the spear for the increased attack speed with myself. So that's basically what I use here. I often also use a mage rope. I also have a pretty decent rope which I use with also with techno on it, so it completes my set. Now the set bonus isn't really that big of a deal, but it's a little extra. I rather have legendary items, but I don't yet, so when you really want to make a difference, make sure your items are in legendary. So for the Corsair deck, it's kind of the same, just play with the spear. Actually for Corsair, the more speed you can get, the better. That's really the key factor for that deck. The more speed, stack all the speed you can get. So if you can get a techno spear, which is legendary, that baby will rock your world. I guarantee you that deck will become insane. But also try and get your Corsair level 10 minimum. And what else? Yes, of course your gadget, the higher he is, the better. So that's basically the important stuff. But for Corsair attack speed, of course for Robot it helps as well. It's what it makes it strong. So that's it. But on Robot, I was testing out the hunting jacket actually in this specific match. But I also use rope quite often, that works as well. So Corsair, more speed is more important than with Robot, but this is basically what you need to know. One more little change of the deck I am playing, which is the Robot and Clock deck. You could try with Trickster. So with Trickster I would use both my weapon. My weapon should be like a staff. Ideally a techno staff. I don't have one, but the best staff you can get. So if you have a legendary staff, you know, it's amazing. And also the vest, you don't use the hunting jacket with Trickster, use the mage robe. So you want to deplete your enemies mana, and you want to gain as much mana for yourself as you can. So that's really also a very strong deck. There's always a few changes left and right, but if you got like a high level Trickster with a good staff, a high level staff, and a rope, a good rope, then this deck will also, you know, it's probably maybe even better than this one, but you know, they come close, so try them out and you won't regret it. Okay guys, so let's give you guys a quick recap. So we want to check the gear. If you keep losing to the same guy over and over, at the end on the scoreboard you can check his gear. Do that, maybe that's the missing piece of the puzzle, but the gear is very important. So if some decks don't work for you, check the gear, because you might need certain gear items for it to work, or have them at a high level. You know, like the Corsair deck, you need as much speed as you can and a decent level Corsair, or it's not gonna work. It's like an end game top tier deck. Keep that in mind. Other than that, a good alternative for gadget is use Trickster. Especially the Robot and Clock of Power deck right now is amazing with Trickster. So if you do have a Trickster, you don't have a gadget, use the Trickster, because you will be beating a lot of gadget players. But keep in mind, again, the gear, use a staff and a rope instead of a spear and a jacket. That's probably the best thing. Other than that, make sure to use the right tactics for the right decks. Always kind of know what you're doing. That's also important. Other than that, there's not much to it. Of course, make sure to get the items. That's easier said than done. You can kind of farm for them, but we all know that's not always how it works. So try and get those items and see how far you can get, and try and find alternatives. Also check out our Discord, there's tier lists there. Each week the faction changes, so we're updating it, and you can see what's best to play each week, so you can get some inspiration there. Other than that, I just want to thank you for watching. Please subscribe, leave a comment, like my vids. I can really use you guys' support, so thank you very much, and I hope to see you guys very soon on the battlefield.